Hey guys, welcome back to another video over here on the Chinese Zodiac and horoscopes. Today we're going to be doing a reading for the rats and those born in the year of the rat. However, unlike my usual videos, I will be doing something new from now on. So this is the first video and the first reading of the new way of doing things. So simply put, I've decided I want to explore more depths to card readings using the Chinese Zodiac as my primary sort of tool of doing so. And as I've previously mentioned before, I do believe that this is a very unique channel. It's a very individualistic kind of card reading. And I want to explore more depths to that. So today I'm going to start the first of the new readings, which will be 9 cards and not 3. The 9 cards will be split into 3 different parts. The first part will be your general reading, and that general reading will be very similar to the weekly videos that you're used to. The next will be more love, romantic, kind of more involved, if you like, in that specific thing. The third will be money, finance, career. And we're going to see if we can get some people resonating, see if we can pick it apart a little bit more and do a bit more of a in-depth reading. As I say, it's the most simplest way I can put it. Because I'm going to be doing this, it does mean that the videos will be slightly longer, and because I would have to do 12 a week, I have now decided to do the readings once a month. So instead of every single week, I will be doing once a month readings for each Chinese Zodiac, and they will be longer and a bit more detailed. Very similar to what I started to do on Patreon, which has now changed. So what I was offering on Patreon will now be free on YouTube, on this channel. That will start today. But if you would like to support me, if you would like to show support, then please do consider just joining up on the Patreon just to show some general support, because I would love to get to the point where I can design and create my own deck of cards. So if you are interested in supporting me in that way, then please do hit that Patreon link below and just sign up just to show general support. However, the readings will be here, they will be free, and it's a sort of trial and error situation. When I began this over a year ago, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, and I didn't expect it to have so much kind of resonation from people. But every single reading I put out, every single time I put something up there, I get 2 or 3 people from each sign telling me, messaging me, commenting, or you know, just in general conversation, saying how it is spot on and how it is kind of resonating with what they're going through. So I'd like to do more. I'd like to do more, and it starts with basically the same sort of way we did it before, where we're going to close our eyes, we're going to shuffle the cards up, and we're going to pick 3 first of all for that general kind of reading. So let's stop about there, and we're going to take that one from the bottom, we're going to take that one from the middle, we're going to take that one from the top. What have we got? Okay, so we've got a black, white, black there then, which would be the first 3 for the first spread. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to close our eyes, we're going to shuffle up these cards, and what we're going to focus on is the more relationship, romantic, love kind of aspect of things. Now I do understand that some people are single and some people are married, and everybody's going to be different, but that's why we try to keep it simple, basic, and relatively vague, purposefully, for that very reason. And it is amazing how many people can actually literally relate it to some aspect of their life, no matter how different their lifestyles may be. Anyway, let's stop about there. And we're going to take that one from the bottom. We're going to take that one from the middle. We're going to take that one from the top. And that will be our 3 cards there for that love romantic aspect. Okay, so then again, for say career and money, we are going to shuffle these cards up. And we're going to focus on that. And we're going to stop about there. And we're going to take that one from the bottom. We're going to take that one from the middle. We're going to take that one from the top. What have we got? Okay, so we've got a white, black, black there then. So we have got a good mixture of cards here for each spread that we're going to do. And what I'm going to start with is I'm just going to move these ones down because we don't need them just yet. And we're going to start with these 3 here. I just want to make sure that I'm leaving enough room to get them in the screen. It just makes editing the videos a lot easier. Right, let's start off with this first card then. The black rat for the rat person. Okay, so rats tend to get on well with other rats. They are compatible to a degree. What I do see here, though, is that negative element coming in where we could be feeling a little bit possessive. We could be feeling a little bit frustrated with someone. You want something done or you want to do something, but something or someone around you is putting you off. They're not encouraging you, rather they're not fussed. I wouldn't say they don't care, it's just they don't mind. So where you're happy to, I don't know, make plans for a holiday or make a decision to go out in the evening to a restaurant, you're going to your partner, you're going to your specific person or whatever it is or whoever it is that you're wanting to invite, and you said, oh, let's do this on Tuesday night. And they've gone, yeah, can do. And that lack of enthusiasm, I think you're going to find quite frustrating. It's almost like it's putting a downer on things. You want those around you to be optimistic and motivating, and it's not quite happening. However, what we could see here is maybe we could look out for ourselves a little bit and maybe not put pressure on other people to validate our own ideas or wants and wishes. Sometimes we can just accept that that person is just happy doing what we've suggested or what we want to do. That rat is I'd say, quite problematic when it's in the black, because rats like to do, you like to pre-plan, you like to prepare. Now, if you're not in a compatible situation, your pre-planning, your preparation, your kind of way of organizing could be seen as nagging, could be seen as, you know, like I say, putting pressure on others. You could be unknowingly and unintentionally making this situation worse because you're expecting something different. You're expecting something that you would do. For example, somebody says to you, oh, we could plan a holiday. You would be there going, yeah, let's do this, let's do that, let's plan this, let's pre-plan that, because most rats are preppers. You're prepared. You like to be prepared for eventualities. It could happen, might not happen, are probably going to happen, probably not going to happen, probably not even possible, but going to prepare for it anyway. So you like to prepared. You like to be prepared. And I think in social circles, or even in a family situation, because this rat card does represent very vaguely some sort of family dynamic, in a family or sort of situation like this where you're wanting this enthusiasm from those around you, maybe you just need to accept that you're the fun one and plan for them, or, you know, just accept that they're not going to be the same as you, because your alternative is making them change who they are to suit you, or you leave and find somebody else that suits you. Those are the alternatives. So maybe acceptance might be a better approach here. We've got the white monkey there. That's a good card for a rat person. That white monkey is a doer, just like the rats, in the same affinity triangle with the rat. So we're very compatible here. Very compatible. And it's in the white. So it is looking at doing things forwardly or progressively. The monkey is a self-care card. It represents self-care. It represents, looking after yourself. It's looking out for you. And again, as we've already previously said, if you want something done, rats, just do it yourself and accept that it's only you that's going to be enthusiastic about planning and prepping and organizing these sorts of things. It might be tedious. It might feel like they don't care or there's not enough input. It might even make you feel like you're being pushed away, or, you have differences in your likes and dislikes, However, the choice is yours. You can again choose to accept, or you can just go elsewhere. I mean, you can't beat someone down in order for them to change to fit your whims and your wants and desires. You can't do that. That's not fair. That's something that isn't going to go down too well with any other sign I know of, where you'll come in and try and change them. People shouldn't be that flexible. They are who they are, and they are who they are for a reason, just like you are who you are for a reason. And this monkey is saying, basically, if you're going to get it done, it's going to have to be you that does it. And if you have to do it in a selfish way, then that's fine, because you can be petty about this. Okay, so you have to plan the holiday. They're not going to help you. Fine. You pick the destination. You pick where you go. You pick the itinerary, and you pick the routine. That way, it's yours. It's your holiday. And when they complain, you can say, well, you didn't have an input. You didn't put an input in. So what right really do you have now to moan that we're going to this water park, or we're going to this safari park, or this boring little holiday in a caravan somewhere? Because if it's your preferable option and you like little boring holidays in caravans and they don't, then in future it could encourage them to be a little bit more involved. But I think you need to be optimistic about it yourself and not expect others to be enthusiastic alongside you. We've got the Ox card coming in, another good card for the rats. This Ox, of course, is your soul path card. This is a card that represents the journey that you are on. It is, of course, your soulmate sign. The Ox and the rat are generally paired as a soulmate. Now, the Ox is a slow and steady one. You're quite, if it's got to be done, let's get it done. You're a doer. The Ox is not. It's a thinker. And right now, in that negative sort of headspace that you may be in, it could just take the opportunity just to think about things a little bit. Think about it. Because again, if you really did put your mind to it, you could plan a holiday that suits you and their needs, or, those around you's wants as well. But you could equally put your mind to it where you almost, in some kind of way, sort of passively aggressively punish them. They get to come on the holiday, but it's your itinerary that they're going to have to follow. It's the things that you want to do that they're now going to have to do. That Ox is, again, representing that journey. So, as I've previously touched on, I would never suggest that people should just end their marriages. But if your journey's heading into a negative place, are you sure you're on the right path? Are you suited to be with that person if them not participating frustrates you that much? If they're not getting involved, or they're not pulling their weight as you might see it. That Ox has no problem pulling its own weight, but when we're in the negative there, what we're looking at here is almost like a lack of respect, a lack of kind of consideration, a lack of like basically just stubbornness and reluctance. And that may be what you're up against. You may be up against that reluctance. That Ox there being in its position is one that is going to slow down your forward momentum. And I think maybe that forward momentum is being slowed down because you could be pulling the wrong weight or pulling too much weight, as you've already come to the conclusion that you are if that person is reluctant or not getting involved. It doesn't have to be planning a holiday. It could be doing anything. Housework, garden chores, helping out here, doing stuff there, just being involved, coming up with any kind of idea to keep things fresh and going. It doesn't even have to be romantic. This could be something that is like, you know, family orientated, or, you know, just in a close friendship kind of way, socially. You know, your friends don't want to do anything. Maybe it's time to get new friends. But we'll find out, won't we, when we come back and do the next part of that next month. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? Because that seems so long away. But we will touch on that next month. I'm going to leave them up there, just so they're there but out the way. And then we're going to move these back up, move this middle section up, because now what we're going to look at is that romantic element. Is it the romantic element that is the problem? Is it the relationship or the love aspect that is holding you back here and making things difficult? Let's find out, shall we? As always, we're going to be looking at the compatibility of the cards to give the reading. Now, what we've got here in a romantic element, if you like, is the goat, which is a catalyst. So things are going to change for you. Things are going to come unexpectedly at a time that you're not necessarily looking for it or kind of looking out for it. It's like you're not looking. Things are just going to happen. It doesn't necessarily need to be something new. It could be something like a spark in the relationship that you're in, a reignition of that past flame. It could be something like this where, things are going to catch your sort of heartstrings and pluck on them a little bit and play the right song, and it may make you might make you want to dance a little and reignite that fire. It could. But on the other hand, if it goes the other way, where this new spontaneous love affair comes at a cost, and it's financially draining, and it's costing you more money to keep this routine, this lifestyle, this new kind of aspect in your life alive, I think you're probably more likely to dampen it and kind of put it out rather than sit by it and roast marshmallows. It's okay to say, like, you haven't been out for ages on a date, whether it's with your husband or wife or just in general, but can you actually put yourself in a position where you can say, okay, well, let's go and spend this much money this evening on this particular thing in the hopes that that's going to bring enjoyment or satisfaction or happiness in any shape or form? Because from one perspective, as a married couple that could potentially be in a fine, okay, and not in a rocky place at all, to make the decision to go out for food is great. But if you're not financially stable or able to right now, you're not just putting more pressure on yourself to go out and then put yourself in a position where that money could have been put elsewhere. Maybe it's best just to cook at home together, do something fun at home or something like this that doesn't spend too much money. Because I think that sheep's going to come in and be very abrupt with this catalytic kind of moment. And I think that's going to be the change. The reluctance to want to spend loads of money. It's the reluctance to want to waste that money, which is a good thing. But it comes from a different perspective. Again, where even if you're single and there's an opportunity to go out on dates and stuff, it could be that financial thing that puts you off. It could be that one financial thing that puts I'd say a barrier in the way, or a sort of glass ceiling that makes it almost impossible to actually make something of this in order to give it its oomph, to give it that kick, That romantic aspect of things is very fragile, and any change in it, I think, could upset the dynamic. Just because you then decide that Tuesday nights are going to be date night doesn't mean that you can support that or you can commit to that, which could then cause more problems in the long term when you could have just left things the way they are. So same with going out on a date. You don't necessarily feel you need to, I don't think, but you could have that opportunity to do so. Just think about it and weigh up the odds. Weigh up the odds first, because things can turn bad really, really quickly. They can turn really bad, and there's that negative sheep. And I think this experience here in the white aspect, that positive aspect, is that you are thinking straight in the respect that you don't want to waste any money. And then we're looking at this catalytic moment where if you don't, then you're not necessarily going to move from where you are. Things can switch up very quickly, especially in the course of a set amount of time, in a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of weeks. Depending on what it is, these things can change really, really quickly. And then we got this goat flipping over to this other goat. This is a positive going into a negative. This is you almost attempting, if we look at this from like a monthly perspective, this is like you attempting to say, yeah, okay, this month we're going to go out and every Tuesday will be date night. Well, by the middle of the month, you're going to find yourself that you've got no money. You're going to find yourself in a position where you've overspent. You're going to find yourself in a really annoyed place because you like to save your pennies. Rats are renowned for it. You like to save every penny that you can. That goat will spend it. It will borrow it. It will indulge in whatever it can at every whim, and it will just take from you. You would rather put the hard work in and enjoy the challenge than be putting yourself into a position where you're now financially rocky or unsettled. And I think if you are looking to date right now, that should be your key, to kind of look out for that type of person where if you were to suggest to them, well, let's just go grab a bag of chips and go down the beach and just watch the sunset. If they said, oh no, that's too cheap, boom, that's not for you. I mean, maybe sitting at the beach eating chips isn't for you, but what I'm suggesting is if you were to offer the bare minimum, not in effort, not in focus, not in intention, but financially putting in the bare minimum, would they be interested? Not because you can't afford it, just because you shouldn't have to be expected to spend on that romantic kind of aspect of your life. It should form naturally through a bond, through, that love and respect, and that feeling stuff should not be about money. It should not be about money. And I feel that it's the money or the financial side of things that's definitely going to be a spanner in the works here. That dog says, get your defensives up. Be defensive. Be thoughtful on this. You need to have self-respect here for yourself, as well as respecting those around you. The dog and the rat are quite compatible, so that's good. But what I am seeing here is that this isn't going to be a month of sunshine and lollipops and roses are red and violets are blue. This is just going to be one of those standard, normal months. May is just going to be a month for you. You can put yourself in a position where it's better and it's all amazing and, it's great. But that's only going to annoy you more when you've spent more money and paid more money and put more money into stuff that you shouldn't necessarily have to. It's almost a difference if we were to go back a little bit to the previous spread that we've done. It's almost the equivalent of me saying, like, you wanted to go on a holiday, but your idea of a holiday was that little caravan down in Cornwall, just relaxed, cheap, basic, simple, perfect. But the other person, now being badgered to get involved, or you wanting them to get involved, says, okay, well, let's go book some tickets and we're going to go fly here and we're going to go spend this 2 weeks in this resort somewhere and it's going to be all catered for and it's going to cost all this money, or let's go on a cruise, let's do this. Do you know what I mean? And you're like, whoa, that's not what I was thinking. So I think having defenses up is a good idea. Setting boundaries, but you shouldn't have any conflicts as long as you are planning out. Again, you're a planner, so this should be easy for you. Should be planning out each eventuality and then picking the one that's going to be the less stressful, the less problematic, the less kind of one that's going to make you feel like you've been cheated rather than you're on an equal playing field. You want to be equal in this. And I think things are going to change and things are going to swap up and you're going to want to put in change in things. However, that may not be your best step forward. Not really. Again, something to evaluate. If your partner's constantly on about you saying, we don't do this and we don't do this and we don't go out and you don't take me anywhere, you can opt again to say, well, okay, well, let's go for a nice little walk and we'll just park the car up and go for a walk. Grab a coffee somewhere in a nice little cafe. Nice and cheap and cheerful. That may not be good enough for them. And therefore, is that person really... in many ways, in some ways, is that person right for you? if this is going to continue to be a problem. Something else we'll find out next time when we come back and do a reading for you guys born in the year of the rat in that respect. We're going to move those up, and then we're going to move on to these three here, and these three are of course your financial situation. So we've got two negatives here and that one white. It kind of all ties in together, I think, a little bit with those two negative aspects with that financial sort of situation. Again, not saying that you're poor or financially struggling. Well, you could be, but that's not what I'm getting at. This is more a case of you're not needing to spend money unnecessarily when there are better alternatives that will have better long-term results. Let's find out, shall we, as we flip these cards over. We've got that snake. Now, as I've said before, it's ironic because the snake is not a problem card for rat people. They're actually relatively compatible, so this is good. We're off to a good start, but this is possession. This is holding on. This is keeping stuff as close to you as possible and thinking. The snake, of course, is a thinker. It's about thinking your sort of strategy ahead of time. Again, something that rats are very good at. So if you can budget, if you can plan, if you can think your way through this rather than getting aggressive, rather than shouting about it and, you know, bringing up arguments, if you can think this through, you could lay out a very good budget and financial plan for the near future so that you can actually save money. Holding on to it, that's what this snake is suggesting here. The white snake, hold on to that money, hold on to it, and use your intuition. Use that sort of kind of that kind of like feeling that you get when you think, should I really do this? No. If you're questioning it, no. If you're thinking about that, no, don't do it. If at any one point you say, should I do this? The answer is no. Because if you're supposed to do it, if it's meant for you, you won't even question it. And this comes back to, again, that spending of money. Money, again, isn't necessarily the problem. Overspending and not spending it responsibly, that's going to be one of your issues. Again, could have a few issues in the love life department, but you can offer alternatives. And again, if it doesn't work out, you have to question, is that the right place for you to be? Is that the right person for you? And I don't care if you've been married 20 odd years, 30 years. I know people that have been married for 30 odd years that were never supposed to be together. And they're getting divorced all over the place, all over the world, all of the time. Now, I'm not suggesting that's what you should do, but you always need to be open to the idea that you might not be in the best place for you, no matter how happy the happy days are. Financially, though, things aren't that bad because you're managing to hold on to that kind of, I'd say, that financial asset that you've got, I think. And I think if you were to cooperate more, work more around a flexible schedule, you might be able to get in more hours. You might be able to actually, I wouldn't say impress them at work or impress the place where you are currently employed. It's not about impressing them. But if you were to be willing to, things could again turn around. You know, they could turn around. Cooperate with them, commit to them. Commitments is a very good kind of way to impress a workplace. When you have commitment, and it's there, it's seen as loyalty, and that can not always, but can be rewarded. Something to think about. And I don't think the situation where you're in at the moment is too intense or demanding, again, because that snake is in the white. We are, however, looking at these two negatives, though. So let's find out what those guys are up to. The black rooster. There's you saving those pennies, because overspending is not going to be good. The rooster and the rat, they have difficulties in communication. And I think communication problems could cause an issue where money might come up in conversation and become an issue. And I think this is going to test your patience a little bit because you already know where you stand. It's going to come at a cost. The black rooster is costing you something. So all of this will cost you something. It could cost you that financial stability that you've got, but more than likely it's going to cost you what it is that you're arguing with about the financial situation. It's going to cost you energy, it's going to cost you focus, it's going to cost you the financial situation you're in. It's going to cost all of this. And again, people are going to take advantage of this. People are going to see this as you spending out, and could take advantage of this. Your commitment to work will come at a cost, yes, but it will be a far better cost than your commitment to spending money, for obvious reasons. And yes, you will be criticized and you will be judged, because that black rooster is a judgmental one, and it is judging you. And it will judge you, and you'll be judged by your peers, you'll be judged by your family, you'll be judged by your loved ones, you'll be judged by them, because they'll see you as, oh, you're so tight, oh, you're so cheap, or you're just keeping all that money all hoarded up to yourself. And yes, you are. And that's exactly what you should do this month, is save those pennies. Do not do anything drastic or dramatic. Don't do it. It won't be worth it, because you will suffer. That's your own financial situation there starting to come undone. If you do nothing, which is this black monkey, that's a doer that's not doing anything. It's not doing or looking out for you. You're not looking out for you. It's going to cost you more than it costs those around you. It's going to cost you more than it will ever cost them, because it's your hand in your pocket. It's your feelings on the line. It's your sleepless nights you have to endure. It's you having to have this headache constantly, always on your mind, not them. So say people may take advantage of this because they don't actually understand what it's like to be in your position. And when you're in this position, again, my only advice would be is to not spend and save that money. Don't be pressured into going, well, okay, well, let's spend this money here, there. Then, you know, as soon as you start doing this, well, let's just spend this here then, or let's just spend that there then, or let's just spend this and this. As soon as you start doing that, it's a slippery slope. It then becomes expectant of you. And now you're spending more than you're making. My advice, I think, looking at this, would be to concentrate more on work. Maybe make some surplus cash for that kind of spontaneous or more, indulgent thing. But definitely keep your savings safe, and definitely work for that income so that you can put it to one side and not spend it. And then if you've got something where you can say, well, actually, let's put 50 quid to one side, and that is what we'll start adding to, so that we can then go on a nicer holiday or buy something more extravagant. But certainly don't start taking it from what you have right now, because I say it's a slippery slope and it's not advisable. But we'll find out how you get on with that in June, when we come back and do another reading for you guys born in the year of the rat. I do wish you the best of the luck for the month, and I'll see you at the beginning of June when we come back. However, I will be back 11 more times before then, of course, with readings for all the other zodiac signs. And if you're interested in what those guys are up to, I will see you over there next. Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's someone you live with, maybe it's a family member or a best friend. But if you know their Chinese Zodiac, you could be tempted to find out what they're up to by watching their video. If so, I'll see you then. If not, see you in June. Thanks for watching, guys. Love and peace.